Meow. Huples cat, Becky the dog. Mr. Bear's doing okay, self-isolating in the bedroom, a closet I think. So yeah, it's SHTF actual for those people who are preppers. For those people who aren't, poop, S, hits the fan. For a long time in human history, in fact probably for all of human history, a tiny number of people have been convinced the civilized world would end very soon and were trying to insulate themselves from it. And preppers, survivalists have been no different from that. Some do sensible things and a very few do very insane things that make no rational sense. And what is going on right now, I think for even the most irrational prepper, makes no rational sense. Things are very chaotic, very confused, and people are very scared. People are immensely smart and immensely adaptable. Don't go judging how smart people are by YouTube or politicians. When stuff goes wrong over human history, time and time again, the local people have immediately, almost immediately, started to pick themselves up, reorganize food, water, healthcare, childcare, shelter, without any authority around them. And this has happened over and over again in human history. And I'm not saying we're going to be so bad that we will lose local and national government or provincial or state government. What I am saying is, if the caseload figures that are projected are anywhere near accurate, there will be a period of time for a week or 2 to 3 to 4 to even 6 to 8 weeks in some areas where effectively 911 is going to be not working and you're going to be pretty much on your own in your local community. And that has dire implications for the overall death rate from this pandemic. But it needn't. So Kitty's kind of gone on a journey over the last week from tolerating my crazy hobby and complaining about the space I use up and the money to actually going into full-blown prepper mode. So when I casually said to her the other night at work, you know, we have quite a lot of food, we have quite a lot of equipment, perhaps we should contact a few of the neighbours on our street and let them know that if they need help, they should call. And she immediately said, yes, that's a great idea. And I think it is a great idea. So I'm going to call it Preppers Helping People, but for normies, I'm going to call it People Helping People. So what I've done is I've printed out 10 sheets of paper, actually 20 sheets of paper, and there's 4 or 5 neighbours that I'm going to give 3 or 4 of these to. And I'm going to say, can you give them to the other neighbours to who you believe are nice people and we would be okay helping out. And that's a key thing. If you're an absolute nasty person, like my neighbour over there, when things go wrong, don't expect people that you've offended, annoyed, trivialised, been rude to, cut off, to actually go out of their way to try and help you out. Now, if I was Christian, I would be right the way over there trying to help my crazy neighbour out. But I'm not, so she's on her own. And that's the way it is. I'm not going to be able to do a lot, but what I can do, I will be able to help. So what do I actually say on this letter? Hi neighbour, Kitty and myself are both old RNs and there are a few paramedics and nurses also on our great street. Just wanted to say, if this virus causes serious issues, that leaves you wanting help and unsure how to get it or need to ask a question, please don't hesitate to call, and then I give them my cell phone number. And again, you might want to give email, you might want to give no information and say knock on the door or pin a note to my door. Whatever works for you, okay? I think what's important isn't to put out a general sheet of paper on the street. I'm not comfortable doing that. I think you might get overwhelmed, and that's not what I want to do here. My personal health, Kitty's personal health, is my paramount importance. What I'm saying here is that if, I don't know her name, but if Fergus, the dog's owner, who lives on her own, and she's a really nice lady, she's probably in her mid-60s, very fit, if she's got pneumonia and she's told to not to go into the hospital, which is highly possible in a severe surge situation, I would like her to have no hesitation thinking, oh, Kitty and Huples, the bull terrier people, They said they would help, and she could text me, and hopefully once we were back from work or whatever, we can go in and help her. If not, I could contact one of my other neighbours to go around there and make sure she's okay. I think it's really, really important that you embrace the fact that this is not a situation where your plan is to run off and hide in the woods. You've probably already been exposed, okay? Your plan is to stay at home and self-limit contact. But to get through this without an extraordinary high death rate, if we have a massive surge that overwhelms hospitals for a significant period of time, each and every one of us needs to treat this like war time. This is a war for the period of time that it's killing a lot of people. Now obviously if this was the start of a nuclear war or etc., I wouldn't do this. I really wouldn't do this. My goals are very much different in an ongoing, the society falls, never coming back scenario, or staying down for years scenario. This truly will not be that. I know a lot of preppers out there are hoping it will be. I don't quite know why they think it will be. It won't be. Spanish flu didn't kill the planet, didn't destroy the stock market. It did for a while, but for about 6 months or so, 9 months, we're going to have a very bumpy time. We owe it to others to reach out now to in our local communities, to the people in our communities we think are nice now, to offer them help if they need it and cannot get it from anybody else. The side effect of this is that hopefully when you need it, because we're not immune to this stuff, are we? Let's be honest. Maybe they'll be able to help you out. Trying to put this stuff together when you need it is going to be very difficult. Putting this stuff together before you need it, in case you need it, is going to be quite simple. And I think it's really disgraceful that our governments have not told the people to start community associations now to provide food, water and basic nursing care and surveillance to people. Exhortations online, make sure the elderly in your neighbourhood are okay, are just fine, but they're not actually telling people what to do or how to do it. And let's face it, we live in a society that's become pretty isolated.
Dr. Fauci said earlier this week that the lag in testing was in fact a failing. Do you take responsibility for that? And when can you guarantee that every single American who needs a test will be able to have a test? What's the date of that?
Yeah, no, I don't take responsibility at all, because we were given a set of circumstances, and we were given rules, regulations, and specifications from a different time. Wasn't meant for this kind of an event with the kind of numbers that we're talking about. And what we've done is redesigned it very quickly with the help of the people behind me.
So I asked them to send me a text if possible. That's my preferred method because I work nights a lot. And unfortunately, unlike most people, I will be working a lot unless I get sick or die. So will Kitty, because we work in a hospital. But most people won't be getting any income or getting very little income. At least we'll be getting some money. Go figure, eh? But there should be a place in time now, the hospitals now, and I know some hospitals in the States are doing this, where staff with special certifications in paramedic or in ICU or in operating room are actually being redeployed out of harm's way, so they have those people in reserve in case they get a surge, right? Smart. You also want to be contacting your retired nurses. You want to be contacting your retired respiratory therapists and retired physiotherapists and retired doctors. You want to have them and you want to say, hi, if we need you, can we call you? Do it now. If you are really anticipating a mega surge, which we are anticipating, you need to be speaking to St. John's, Red Cross, Boy Scouts, Girl Guides. All of those people have skills and can help in a basic capacity. And you'll be surprised if this really goes bad, people will help. So like I said, I'm giving 3 or 4 of these people. I'm going to say, if you know of anyone else in our street that could benefit from this, please give them a copy. Not saying that things will get that bad, but if they do, I want to face the whatever as good neighbours. Peace. And then I give them my house number, and very critically, I point out to them the house with the English Bull Terriers. So I'm not alone in this. I think quite a few people, Joe Primo, Brad from Full Spectrum Survival, quite a few other people are pointing out as it's sinking in, as this SHGF actual is sinking in, that what we need to do is actually protect ourselves. We've got our stuff in place. We've had it in place in some cases for decades or more. What we need to do is now reach out to our community, our local community, which you obviously would not do in a high crime area, right? Like, think and talk about how the community itself can adapt to and mitigate and cope with an uncontrolled outbreak in our own community. I think it's really important that we start to put this stuff in place. Now, I'm also going to show some screenshots of a site that I saw today, and I'm not actually going to join it, though I'm kind of sort of tempted, from the Futurist Society. They're actually putting together a whole bunch of different people from different specialties. They don't specifically mention the word prepper, but I'm sure they'd actually be happy to get one, to actually look at ways of dealing with this current SHTF, and in ways that help people rather than make people full of fear. And I think that's one of my main objections. And I admit my Thursday fun was a little antagonistic possibly to one prepper, but honestly, faking news reports to give the impression that Lou Dobbs is terrified and scared and has his flag upside down as a warning to Americans watching that this is getting bad is absolutely terrible. I saw that video. There was no fear at all. Lou Dobbs was his usual senile old right-wing self. Pins like that often flip, and usually they catch it, and they didn't catch it because, let's face it, people aren't really thinking straight right now. People are wondering if they have enough toilet roll. Anyway, that's all from me for this one. This was my most important video I'll ever make. For most SHTFs, for most scenarios, it's the wrong move. For this one, this is a global, severe, temporary SHTF. You need to help your neighbours out, and they need to help you out. If you don't live in a high crime area, you know, the neighbour you say hi to but you don't really know the name, think about how you can approach them. I'm not going to go and talk to people. I'm just going to go and knock on the door, step away from the door and say, oh hey, I just wondered if you'd like these, this is what we're doing it for. And if they say no, I'll say no problem. One of the things I won't be doing is if I get calls saying we need to have a community meeting, I'm not going there. I don't want to meet with people. They don't need to do that. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. The government of Canada, and I'll be doing a video on this, has an excellent basic preparation document. I can point them to those things, those resources, and if I get really excited, I guess I could point them to my website, but I'm not going to. I think it's still important to have OPSEC. It's one thing to say that, hey, I'm a nurse, or I'm a retired nurse, or I'm a paramedic, or I used to work in the army. I did emergency planning, okay, and I think we need to get together, and I think we need to have a network to help each other out in case you're very sick and your 2-year-old child needs to be looked after while you are too sick to look after them, if state authorities can't help, okay? That's what I'm saying. Don't blow your OPSEC. Now, in terms of blowing OPSEC, everybody knows I kayak and stuff. So if it gets really, really bad and food becomes an issue, which I can't imagine it will, I would actually make food once or twice a week for people. The main problem I'm going to face, and Kitty's going to face, is going to go to work and I'm going to be trapped there for a prolonged period of time. So we really have to put a network together today, actually no, before Wednesday when we work, because I'm not going in early, to have the dogs looked after and the cats looked after. I can rely on her elderly parents for that. I'm not keen on that. We have some cousins, we have some other people in the area, we have a few neighbours. I'll be reaching out to them when I do this to actually ask them specifically, can you take a key? Can you come in and feed my terriers and my dog and my cats? I don't really care about the poop and stuff. There'll be some brown mats down, you can change them and throw the dirty ones outside. I'm not asking you to do that, I just make sure they have water and they have food. And I think that's really important. We are used to, as preppers, being self-reliant. If you get COVID-19 disease, you may not be able to be self-reliant. If you and everybody in your group gets it, you may not be able to be self-reliant. This is not an enemy that we can beat. This is an enemy that's going to beat us unless we come together in very separate ways and keep our sanity and our wits about us. The panic buying that's been going on is a normal human response. It's the people doing it to be pitied. The people buying massive amounts of Lysol and reselling it on Amazon, they should be going to jail. I suspect they might end up going to jail retroactively, to be honest with you. I think what they're doing is definitely something that's going to cause them trouble once the government gets a grip of this. I also think secondary sites like eBay and Amazon, they should be prosecuted and massively fined for allowing people to obviously price gouge for stuff that is life-saving in a time of life threat. Anyway, that's all from me. Remember, in SHTF, tomorrow will always be worse than today unless you prep. Except in this SHTF, tomorrow is definitely going to be worse than today even if you do prep. It's looking dire. Sorry about that, but it is. When I mean that, what I'm looking at is sick calls at work and stuff that's going on in my hospital. We're going to have an outbreak. I cannot believe that we will not get an outbreak very soon, and that will be significantly impactful hospital services in Ontario, and may even cause some or all hospital services to wobble and maybe even stop for a small period of time, which could be several weeks to months. This is going to be an interesting time, and I'm really unhappy I'm living through it. Doodles.
And this will pass. This will pass through, and we're going to be even stronger for it.
That was a Bad Terrier 2020 production.